Oh, hey, everybody. Welcome to Name This Show with Taylor Hughes, the show where I talk about whatever I want, and at the end of the show, we'll decide what this episode should be about. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got a glare in my glasses because it's a beautiful sunny day, and I can't handle not having the windows open. Also, this camera follows me, and over here, you can see a pile of junk. Just don't look at that. That's work in progress. Hey everyone, how was your week? A couple things. First of all, last week I uploaded the first episode. My dear friend Mark James, who I adore, and who, although we live several thousand miles away from each other, he's in Preston, England. I talk to him almost every single day on the phone, but he was so kind and encouraging and said, "Your head looks way too big on the video." Basically, for some reason, on the first video, my head was, I think it was leaning to, I think it was like one of these. So if you haven't seen episode 1 of Name This Show, go check it out. Go check it out. You can see my big head. I am coming a bunch of places on tour. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I'm coming to Lake Tahoe. I'm coming to Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Grand Rapids, Vancouver, going to Canada. That's exciting. I'll be in Chicago. I'm going to San Antonio and Austin this year, going to Houston. I'm going to Denver. I'm going to Albuquerque. I've got this whole tour that we're going to be announcing dates for in the next week or so. And I would love to know where else should I go? Where are you at? Let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram or send me a message. My very cryptic email is taylor@taylorhughes.com. Send me an email. Let me know where you're at. I would love to know. And would love to include a stop near you on these tour dates we got coming up. It was just Valentine's Day, and I was remembering a few things. First of all, a weird thing happened on Valentine's Day. We were cruising in the car with the girls, and do you remember? It's not a magic trick; it's an optical illusion. But there is an illusion of a drawing of an older woman, and if you look at her one way, she looks like an old woman, and if you look at her a different way, she looks like a young woman. And I saw that woman in person. I don't know who that was modeled after, but I saw a woman who had the hair thing, and she looked just like the older woman that if you look at her one way, she's old, and if you look at it the other way, she's young. And I tried to turn the car to get to the other side, and I couldn't. I don't know. Mystery and wonder are still alive. But Valentine's Day got me thinking about when Katie and I this was the first year that we celebrated Valentine's Day. We started dating in high school, as many of you know. I was 15 years old. She was 16. Not to brag. And the first year, we started dating in January, and 2 weeks later was Valentine's Day. And we had been friends for a long time and kind of crushing for a long time. And so this Valentine's Day was like, even though it was the first one, we were kind of wanting to make a big deal. And I remember showing up to school, and I was so excited to see Katie, and I had a little gift for her, like some chocolates and a little stuffed animal thing. And she is looking at me with that look that you only see when they have a surprise and they're wondering, like where you get the idea that you should know about something, but you don't. That's what happened. And I looked at Katie, and she's looking at me, and I was like, "What?" And she was like, and I was like, and she's like, and I was like, "Oh." And then I found out that she had planned something that I didn't see. She said to me, "Did you see it?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "I can't believe you didn't see it." And we ditched school. She throws me in the car because at the time Katie drove and I didn't drive. I did not get my driver's license till I was 18 years old. I also took 3 times to pass the written test, and I took 3 times to pass the behind the wheel test. So my driving has not improved since then either. So if you're ever on the road, and I am, watch out. I say all this because Katie, she puts me in the car. We go down the street. And we drive about 15 minutes. We go down a street that my mom normally would drive me to school at 16 years old. But we would normally go down this one street, but it was really busy that day, so we went a different direction. And what had happened is Katie had got up really early in the morning and she had made huge poster boards, like one word on every poster board. And the street that we were driving down, there was these massive trees that were down the center island where you couldn't miss these trees as you were driving. And she had attached one poster board to each tree that spelled out, Taylor, will you be my Valentine? And at the end it said, love, Katie. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe how cool this girl is. Like, she's phenomenal. I remember very early on with Katie thinking, there's either I'm going to end up with this person forever, or there's another person just like this. Like, she's got a doppelganger out there. Doppelganger? She doesn't have a gang. She's a doppelganger. That's someone who's like the person, but anyway. I remember thinking very early on, man, this is the one for me. And this moment of these signs beyond these trees were so cool. I actually wrote a version of this story in my first book, Road to Wonder, and I talked about how it was so cool. Not only did she make these signs to let me know that she cared, but she was certain that she was going to make sure I saw them. And how often in life do we do that? Do we we expect and we hope that people will know we care about them, but really we should be responsible enough to make sure that they see signs that they really do, that we really do care. So I was just thinking about that story again with Valentine's Day coming up. It's funny. We tend to do lots of fun, surprisey things all year long. Valentine's Day has never been a real big deal for us, though. It's interesting that some people, like, they get so worried or worked up about not having a date for Valentine's Day. I'll tell you this, when I was in high school, one of my best buddies, and I won't say his name because I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he had a girlfriend and it was Valentine's Day coming up, and he didn't have a job at the time, and he was so stressed. He, in his mind, felt like, I have to give a good gift, otherwise I'm like failing as a boyfriend. And so he never got enough money to buy her a present. So what he did is he broke up with her 2 weeks before Valentine's Day, just so that he didn't feel that pressure. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, what if we just took the pressure off, guys? Look at me. If you're feeling like you need that one person to make you feel all better, it's great. It's great to find a person, but you are enough. Okay? Just, you're enough. You're enough. This has been Pep Talks with Taylor. So much has happened in the last week. I got little notes here. Friends, we released a book. My new book, Misdirection, A Magician's Guide to Spotting and Avoiding Manipulation, is out now. It's out everywhere. It was crazy. First of all, in the world of books, pre-orders are a big deal. And to let you in a little inside baseball, what happens is, you promote a book for, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and you take pre-orders. But those pre-orders kind of sit in a holding pattern, and then they get processed the day or the week that the book comes out. And so those orders all show up at the same time, and it goes, wow, a lot of people are buying this book. And then, kind of advance you up in the ranks and let you know. And I think last time we talked, the book was like number 2 in one of the categories. It was insane. The pre-orders made such a huge difference. Thank you all for doing that. If you haven't got a copy of the book, you can get it now on Amazon. I can make more money if you bought it from me, but I'd rather you just buy it on Amazon for 2 reasons. One, it will get to you very quickly. I think they're guaranteeing like 2 days shipping. And the other one is Amazon only lets you leave a review, a verified review on things that you actually purchased from Amazon. So the best way, if you're wondering how to support the launch of this book, is to go on Amazon, order the book. It'll come right to your door, and then you can leave a review on Amazon and let people know what you think about it. Those reviews also make a huge difference too. I think we're at like 19 5-star reviews already. Thank you to everyone who's doing that. I mean, it's interesting. I think I talked about this a bit before, but when you work on a project, you spend so much time thinking about it and working on it that you feel like you've kind of done nothing but talk about that thing. And then you realize, I have to talk about it even more so that people actually get it. And I'm just now starting to get messages from people, and obviously the reviews people are leaving, about what the book's meaning to them and that's how it's helping them. And if you have found yourself in a situation where you've been misguided or misdirected, or you feel like you might be in a situation that's a little manipulative, this book is going to be a good resource for you. I think it's a very fun way of bringing up a hard topic, and I know that there's some things in there that you'll find helpful, because they helped me, kind of got me through some really rough times. And again, this book is not a book of answers; it's a book of questions and some big questions to ask yourself. So, thank you to everyone who's supporting the book launch. It's huge, and some people have been asking me already, what's your next book going to be about? Listen, I never thought I would write one book. I definitely didn't think I would write 2 books. But I will tell you, once you activate the launch sequence of sitting down and putting words to paper, it is a little bit addictive. I've heard it's like that with tattoos. You get a tattoo and then you want a bunch of other tattoos. But it is a little bit, the ideas keep coming. And I'd encourage you with that too, is like, if you, sometimes all we can see is the one thing that is right in front of us, the idea or the project or the thing that needs to exist. And I'll just tell you, there's no end to the amount of ideas. Sometimes though, I feel like ideas line themselves up like Pez in a Pez dispenser. Remember the old candy, you pull back the little doll head and then a candy would pop out? Sometimes I think all we can see is that one idea, but then you get rid of that one and then another one will show up. So I just encourage you, sometimes we can get so worked up about the idea that's in front of us, and we put all this pressure on it being perfect. But it might be the 3rd or 4th idea you have that really clicks with people, makes a difference. So if you're thinking about making stuff, let's go make some stuff. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make some things. Let me know if you need some encouragement. I'll send you a little video, and I'll just be like, you can do it. I also, there's another thing too, is like, you make something and then you're supposed to talk about it. I realized right before the book came out, we released a special on YouTube, and I haven't talked about it a ton, but I'm really, really proud of it. It's a couple years ago, I put out a special called Chasing Wonder on Amazon Prime, and that's been awesome. And then I've made a new show called Enjoy the Ride. It's like a 50 minutes of comedy and magic, and I almost said management. It's 50 minutes of comedy and audience participation and magic, and I think you'd dig it. It's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check out Enjoy the Ride on YouTube. Also, tonight. Okay, I just said tonight, but it's not tonight. It was a few days ago, and it was awesome, but I was late putting this podcast out. So if you hear me talk about being at the Magic Apple tonight, I'm not there. I'm in the past, wondering what it would be like. But I already did it, so now I'm in the future telling you it was awesome. I wish you were there if you weren't. Thanks to everyone who came. It was great. Okay, let's go back to the show. If you are a magician and you happen to be listening to this or watching it the day it comes out, and you happen to also be near Studio City, California, I don't do this often. I've only done this. This will be the 3rd time I've ever done this in a official setting, but I'm doing a lecture for magicians tonight. Which is a funny, like, the idea of calling them lectures is really funny. Basically, a bunch of magicians get together and nerd out over magic tricks and ideas. And so I'm going to be teaching some tricks that I've used on my specials and in my touring show. I feel like sometimes we can be so precious with ideas, and one of the ways I keep myself from doing that is I'll just pass on ideas to other people. So if you're in LA area tonight at the Magic Apple in Studio City, which is one of the few like brick and mortar magic shops still remaining, it is awesome. You go in there and it's like all the cool weird stuff you never see anywhere else. But come on out. I'm going to be teaching a bunch of tricks and talking about other stuff that magician nerds will find enjoyable. So come check that out if you have it. Also, I mentioned I'm going to be doing a tour. We're going on tour, and it's a new show. So I got the show on Amazon. I just put the one on YouTube, and this is all new material, new stories, new jokes, new magic. I'm really enjoying the process of working on, like, coming up with new stuff. And I don't always enjoy it. I remember when I put out the first special and I was all excited, and then I realized I had no show to do when people came to see me because I didn't want to do the same stuff they had just watched. I wanted to do new stuff. And also, another reason you put out a special or you record stuff is I feel like there's kind of a perfect window when a bit or an idea or a joke or a story goes from being, something you're working on to something that eventually, if you tell it too much, work on it too much, do it too much, it becomes something that feels old. And there's this perfect window where that story or that joke or that routine is at its best. And I don't know. There's some people who are like, nah, you can do the same stuff for 50 years. And you could. I just feel like there's kind of this beautiful window of time when you want to capture and put that stuff out. And now I'm in a different window of time where everything is new, and it's it's fun. Like the stuff, when you put something on stage as a magician, it's already going to be, you want to get it to like 80% of the way there. Like it'll be good when people first see it, but it is new. And it's fun to be in this stage where stuff is like new and fresh and you can try out ideas. And yeah, I'm really digging it. I'm really digging it. So if you come out to any of these shows on the road, there's some on my website. We're adding a bunch more tour dates very, very soon. But if you come out to one of these shows, it's going to be new stuff you haven't seen before, and I'm excited to share it with you. Let's see. Oh, I also wanted to say this. I never talked about this before. I may have mentioned it briefly, but I did a one-person show called The Last Sermon. That it was a wild experience. It was like 10 years that I thought about this show and considered making it, and for a long time was nervous to do it because I was afraid. I don't know if I was afraid of what people would think, but it's a very, very personal show because it's about our experience of some things that happened to us at the church that I grew up at and where I worked and for many, many years. And it's an interesting process. I would encourage you, whether or not you ever plan on telling these stories publicly or putting them in a book or doing a show, I'd encourage you to write out key moments in your life. Like examine moments in your life where you learned something, where you grew, where you thought one way or life was one way, and then this thing happened. And then after that thing happened, what was different in the world? What existed after that? And so I would encourage you to, almost as a therapeutic process, to write some of this stuff down and start to process some of your stories. I think you'll find in it that there are, like I said, it can be therapeutic, but you're going to find things about yourself that you didn't realize. And in writing this show, I realized some things about our story that I had never really not taken the time, but, spent a lot of time in therapy, a lot of time talking to Katie, a lot of time processing with friends and working through things. And also like going, okay, where did we go wrong? What could we do different? How do we want to live life now? But still, even through all of that, there's nothing like sitting down and writing, how was life before this thing? And then really writing the hard stuff about what that moment was like. And then what beautiful thing or challenging thing or new thing exists on the other side of that. And for me, this show has been a very new experience. 75 minutes long, no magic in it whatsoever, just stories and comedy, and stories that will make you laugh. I mean, the funny stuff is really funny, and the heartfelt stuff is really serious, and also a show that's not trying to talk anyone into or out of anything. The only agenda with this show is to, I think for me, is to let other people know who may find themselves in a similar situation. And when I say similar, it doesn't have to be like in a place where we were at. We all have stories about trying to find community and forgiveness and betrayal and wanting love. All of those things are common human elements. And so I think this show is just my experience with those things. And and I also think it's a fun, unique way to do it. So we did the show in when did we do the show? In December. I did the show, and this is the first time I'll talk about it. But in April 30th at Dynasty Typewriter, I'm going to do the show again. I don't know how often I will do the show or if I will do this show again. There's ideas of things that we could do with it. I do think that that it's something that can encourage and that people will find something in it that is helpful to them. And so I would like a lot of people to see it. But I'm also approaching this project with the attitude of when I did it the first time, I was like, if we do it once, that's great. That's all we need to do. And if we end up doing it a bunch, that's great too. But I'm holding it very open-handedly. I'm honest with myself on realizing that this very well could be the last time I do it. I don't know. But the first time it was really good. It was fun. And it was a thing. When I say it was good, I mean, it was just, I was glad that we did it. And I'm excited to do it again. So if you're in the LA area on April 30th, tickets aren't on sale yet, but save the date. The last sermon's coming back to town. Excited to share that with everybody. And again, if you're going to be in any of these cities, Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, I'm doing a 2-week residency in Lake Tahoe in March. I'm going to actually go out there to run the new show a bunch before we take it on the road, and I'm so excited. So if you're anywhere near Lake Tahoe in March, I'll be there. I'm going to Portland and Seattle, Grand Rapids, Vancouver, Canada. I'm going to Chicago, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, going to Denver, Colorado, Basalt, Colorado, which is near Aspen, really cool performing arts venue there that we're doing, and then Albuquerque. So if there's any other places that you are at or you would like to see me be at, please let me know. And thanks for tuning in, friends. I think next week we'll have a guest on the show. And like I said, this is kind of a new experiment, just a little behind the scenes, sharing just some thoughts, some experiences. And I think based on what we talked about today, well, I'd have to call this Old Lady Illusion. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I'll see you next time.